Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT podcast. We are here for a abbreviated post-Thanksgiving, end of November, getting towards the end of the year, Christmas not yet episode, and we don't have a lot of news, but what we do have is some members of the podcast
Friendship.
other than myself, including
Our
on
friendship.
my right
Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
and on my left.
Just Tyler.
And that's all we have this week. But
Thanks for joining us this week.
we also do not have much news this week, mostly because everyone's waiting for the Game Awards, Game of the Year stuff, and all that jazz. So not a lot going on this week. So we have a couple mini topic-esque things that we're going to talk about. Crazy, I know. But before we do that, Friedman, as the local Pokemon fanatic.
Am I really a fanatic when all I do is
Yes.
just whine on it bi-weekly on this
This
podcast?
is the first game you
You
didn't buy,
gobbled
the
the
second
dick
game?
a lot
Damn.
on Pokemon.
These hard accusations, which I will confirm is true.
I'll say,
Yes.
may I cite the other 100 some odd episodes?
I love going. All right, before we do the topic, I love going back and listening to episodes where I'm like, I'm not going to buy Pokemon Sword, and just listening to me make up these excuses. Anyway, so let's talk about Nintendo for a bit here. So first and foremost, I'm pretty sure we talked on the last episode, but Scarlet and Violet are really buggy, crappy games with huge performance issues that are not something the biggest franchise in the world should be putting out. And a lot of people are very forgiving of Game Freak for this. But for the first time, Nintendo tweeted out as they launched the first patch for Scarlet and Violet, which, by the way, the patch did not improve performance. It was for certain bug fixes, and I think to fix some raids that people were getting locked out of. And then the reminder glitches like Pokemon not closing their eyes when they're asleep, which has been a thing since like Gen 6.
Nice.
That was bugged, so they fixed that. But there have been no changes to the general like running performance of the game. As this patch goes live, Nintendo tweets out like we are listening to everyone's feedback. We're very aware of performance concerns, and we will continue releasing patches that will address these issues. So Nintendo says, in a way that I'm paraphrasing from their paraphrasing, is that yes, there will be a performance patch at some point. Like, we're listening, we realize everyone's fucking pissed, but we're Nintendo, so we're gonna pretend everything's okay and just leave us alone. So that's what Nintendo did. And while most companies giving this kind of nonsensical, vague, we'll fix it, releasing a patch that doesn't do anything would normally be reprehensible, but the fact that this is the first time Nintendo's ever done it for Pokemon is kind of like a huge thing in and of itself. But yeah, I'm still not playing this game. I'm so close to wanting to from what I've seen.
Booty.
But I don't want to support this shit. Like, it feels like a weird Android game every time I look at it.
Probably because it is.
But there's so much different shit they did, like the whole thing with like letting your Pokemon roam out on their own, and how there's more mechanics than just leveling up tied to letting your Pokemon do that. Regardless, it's cool, but I don't have time for this, so I'm gonna stay strong and not play this game.
Stay strong.
Stay strong. Pokemon fans, don't play this game. Solidarity.
Make them be better.
As if they ever will. Anyway, outside of Pokemon Land, Nintendo had another big franchise announcement. Does someone else want to headline this one, or
I
should
don't
I
know
talk
if it's
about
an
it?
announcement, but we got the. Funny enough, I think this is worse, but we got the first.
This is worse.
Hold on, let me explain. We got the first full trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. And by full trailer, I mean the one that shows Mario, jumps around a lot, and has really dumb who gives a shit editing. The reason I say worse is, like, who is this trailer for? Like,
Donkey
Little
Kong
kids.
fans.
It's literally for little kids.
This is a kids movie.
I know that,
And I'm not
no,
I'm not
I-
saying it in like a venomous way. Like,
No, I'm saying it like in a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of. This is a kids movie.
No.
Yeah,
None of that is the problem. I just hate watching a trailer that's just, here's 10 important scenes from the movie that we cut down for a quip in a trailer. Whereas, honestly, I liked the first one a lot, where the first trailer was like, hey, here's Bowser. Here's a funny little scene, and then Mario does exist, and we know what Bowser's going for. He's going for a star. That's it. And now this one's like, hey, Donkey Kong's here. Hey, there's Mario. Hey, there's kart racing. Hey, there's all this shit. Hey, there's like, here's the view of what the entire world looks like. Here's Mario running on levels a whole bunch. Like, it's just too much.
I mean, everything you described is what I love about this.
I'm not saying, Freeman, I'm not saying I think the movie looks bad.
Oh, no, I know. Well,
I
you're just
think
describing what it is.
Trailer editing and making is shitty.
From a film connoisseur, it's ass, and I agree with you. But it is also not for us either.
No, but like,
Yeah.
I would see this movie. I would have seen it based on the first trailer anyway.
I was on the fence after the first one, but honestly, seeing platforming, Rainbow Road, and specifically, I think it's World like 3-2 or something. The one where you're on the bridge and the cheaps are jumping at you. Seeing them recreate that level for a scene while it's a background thing in the scene kind of blew my mind and made me actually impressed with what they're doing with the movie itself.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't disagree
cool.
with any of it. I just think I'm tired of movies being like this.
Well, too bad because the little kids aren't.
But like, what little kid is like, ooh, now I want to go because of this trailer? Every little kid is like, ooh, I saw it on TikTok. Now I want to see it.
Yeah, well, they'll see this trailer on TikTok.
They'll see Freeman. Those kids on TikTok are bored after 5 seconds.
Well, you
They'll
know what
see
also
clips
could
of it,
be?
I don't know.
It could be parents our age also, like, oh, I want to get my kid into what I played as a kid.
They're like, oh, look, it's a Mario movie.
movie.
Little Jimmy's gonna love this.
Yeah, little Henry's gonna love this. Maybe he'll play video games too.
He may actually love this movie when he's grown up.
That's fine by me. He has to like good video game movies, not terrible ones. So,
name one. Name one.
Sonic was pretty good.
And it's a kids movie.
Boom, got him.
Rest my case.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Wreck-It Ralph, video game movie, one of my favorite movies. Boom, got him.
Boom. I mean, it's not a video game movie. It's a video game movie.
Is Ready Player One a video game movie?
Absolutely not. No.
Damn! Wait, you can't say that.
It's a movie about references. It's a movie with
Bro,
references.
you're
not what Wreck-It Ralph is?
You said the same thing twice. Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Though. I mean, what are we talking
Wreck-It
about?
Ralph is video game characters living in a video game.
References, bro. It's the same movie.
Ready Player One takes place inside of a video game, so it's the same
Ready
thing.
Player One is about a kid trying to overthrow the government. That's not what Wreck-It
No,
Ralph
no,
is.
he's trying to beat the CEO of the biggest government in the world in a video game.
No, that's not a video game.
That it's a gamer movie.
Tim, you're high.
It's a gut thing. No, Wreck-It Ralph is a
You're
game.
high.
Nope.
You're biased.
No.
You're biased.
This is not true. Ready Player
I'm loving this.
Ready Player One is about a guy who uses VR. Wreck-It Ralph is about video game characters living in video games.
But it's a video game movie, though.
Yes.
So is Ready Player One.
No.
I don't understand.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going in circles here.
It could be fucking Robin Hood, and it would just be, oh, look, I'm in the woods. It makes a woods bait. It's a movie about the woods. No, it's a movie about a guy who's just happens to use VR
and it's a
as the
movie who
medium.
completely fucked the entire arcade, and they need to fix it.
But it's inside a video game.
So is Ready Player One.
No, it's a VR. Okay, VR. That's like saying Second Life is a video game.
It's
Second
sort of
Life-
online a video game anime.
Is the metaverse a video game?
Yeah.
No. Absolutely.
It's got me's in it. Nothing. No,
It's got me's.
If it's got me's in it, it's got to be a video game.
It's got me's in it.
I
Christ.
can't think that that's. I don't know. No, I don't
That's
think
fine. That's fine. We can agree to say that you're wrong.
so. It's fair. We can agree to disagree. That's what
Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and that's why we're going to
Every
move
time,
on from them.
everybody's entitled to their shit.
Their shit takes, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I really wish I had set up the soundboard because it's time for the Weeb shit.
Woo.
Wow.
I thought it was the duel.
Anyway,
No.
first and foremost, the biggest thing to come out of just Weeb news in the last couple weeks is the fact that Japan, before the airing of this episode, was doing well at the World Cup. And while at the same time, one of the most hyped soccer/football animes that everyone's been waiting for because the manga's actually really well done, Blue Lock, was airing while this was happening. So the Blue Lock meme potential was out of its world for like a good week. Just want to say that. If anyone has been following soccer and is just like, damn, why isn't there a good soccer anime finally? There's one that's pretty good right now. It's not turning heads for non-sports anime fans. If you don't like sports anime, stay the fuck away. But if you do like sports anime, this is pretty much it. Anyway, moving on. A lot of U.S. news here. First and foremost, we're fucked on the DVD front. For anyone who doesn't know, Funimation was like arguably the biggest DVD producer in the U.S. And ever since the merger with Crunchyroll, a lot of their DVDs have just kind of like mysteriously gone out of stock. So there's some speculation about whether Crunchyroll was still producing DVDs or not. And then Crunchyroll came forward and said, yeah, we're actually like looking to move all the branding over to Crunchyroll. So we need to like replace all the existing Funimation SKUs and start producing new ones. So like there is going to be a gap, but don't worry, like we do intend to keep printing the backlog the same way Funimation was. So the DVD market will stay strong, but it might be on delay for a little bit.
Will it stay strong?
I mean, the thing is, it's not like it's been this like crazy force, but like among people who watch shows, anime fans are the ones who are just like buying everything on Blu-ray. I don't know why it is,
I don't know why.
but like
Well, I
fun.
mean,
like,
I know why, but who the fuck has space for all this shit anymore?
Like I'm at the point where I'm actually getting rid of some of my DVD collection, only keeping the ones where like I really do want to go back and watch this again regularly. So
Actually, if I owned a house, I would keep all my boxes. But I don't because I'm poor.
Same. I have one shelf and I got to make it work. But like, there's certain
What
shows
do you
like
mean? You have. I was about to say you own land, but you don't. But you
I
do
don't
own
actually.
space.
No, I have some space, but I don't. The question is, do I want to waste more? Like, we have
Hell
streaming.
yeah,
Do I want to
brother.
waste more money on Blu-rays? It's
Only if
ones
it's
that
worth.
it's
My
yeah,
guy, you're gonna either space. You're gonna space your waste. Waste your space on DVDs or Gundam models. So pick one.
All right. Well, Gundam models are on the rise.
Heh.
I know.
All
That's
right,
the
so
that's
you
the worst.
made your decision.
The worst part of being a Gundam fan is that you have to keep all the shit after you're done building it. Because then why the fuck did you build it? Anyway, so yeah, DVD market is what it is. We'll see what happens there. I still have a couple series I need to finish. Like I want to finish Attack on Titan on Blu-ray. Like that's one of the shows where like I need this, and I'm only like 2 away from having that done. Anyway, a bunch of movie dates. First and foremost, we got Suzume. I know we all saw a trailer for this when we saw another
Yeah.
big anime movie on Friday, but this is the Makoto Shinkai masterpiece that's tearing up the box office in Japan. And they confirmed an April release date. Why wait so long when the Blu-ray is totally not coming out in May? I don't know. But we'll be getting it then. I'm debating on seeing this one in theaters just because I've seen I think all of his movies so far, and the last 2 or 3 have been very good. So
It's pretty, that's for sure.
I really hated that the characters look so much like the ones from Your Name that the guy behind us thought it was Your Name and then was surprised when it wasn't.
Funny.
Anyway, and then the movie that I was pissed they didn't show us a trailer for, Sword Art Online Progressive Movie 2, which was already been out in Japan for a while, and there was still no. Actually, I didn't know at the time. I thought there was no confirmation of a U.S. release, and they were going to use this as an announcement. But they actually announced it like before Thanksgiving that we were getting a release date in February. So it makes even less sense that this company, which is owned by Sony, which owns Aniplex, which owns Sword Art, didn't want to put a trailer in front of this movie. I'll never know why. But that's coming. And then one more thing I bitched about on Friday too about how we didn't have any announcements regarding Konosuba, and I was getting impatient. Well, bam, the complaint and you shall receive. Because Saturday we got the announcement that the Megumin show, also known as Konosuba: An Explosion on This Wonderful World, will be coming out in April, and we got a trailer showing. I'm pretty sure it was all the characters we saw from the Megumin movie, but like now they're all like 4 years younger or something. Looks cool. I just want to see more explosions. There wasn't like a single big explosion in the trailer, and it was very annoying. But it is what it is. Moving on, let's talk about Netflix and what they're doing with anime real quick, because they got a lot of weird shit going on. So first and foremost, the Trigun remake, they confirmed it's coming out January 7th. I'm pretty sure they're doing
or what?
I'm pretty sure they're doing a batch release because this isn't. I don't think this is an air on TV show. I think this is like a Netflix commission kind of thing.
Oh.
So it might be a batch. I'll double check that, listeners. If I'm wrong, roast me in the chat. All potentially one of you. Moving on. Netflix releases JoJo Part 7, the third batch of 12 episodes, thus concluding. Or sorry, not Part 7, Part 6. What am I saying here? We're not on Steel Ball Run yet. JoJo
Whatever.
Part 6 Stone Ocean. Sorry, I'm so far behind on this shit. This season, the fact that it's out and just there's still no fucking memes from this show just shows how much Netflix killed any kind of JoJo hype there was. It's insane. No one is talking about this, and it sucks.
That's why I said if we ever get the next part.
There's there's talk about it because I think the author's talking about what he's doing for part 9. So like it's not over. JoJo's still going strong, and it seems like David Production doesn't mind. They're like, as long as we can do other projects in between, like we'll come back and do JoJo. So
We will happily wait for the money to do this.
yeah, his fans are just like expecting it at this point. I mean, JoJo's still huge, and arguably bigger than when it's big. I'd argue that it's bigger now than when the anime first started, because it got so much exposure early on. Either way,
It's the memes.
yes, it's literally memes from part 3 are what got most people who watch the show to watch it. I swear. Like there's a meme format from every episode of JoJo Part 5, the Italian one, just because we had the week to week. There has not been that for Jolene's Saga. Like there could be memes, but no one, like when you don't have to fill a week of time for JoJo jokes among the community, they don't. So no one has any like incentive to turn random panels into memes just to kill time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but speaking of killing time, Uncle from Another World, Isekai Jisan, finally came back after it started re-airing in Japan at the beginning of the season. So after week 8, after week 7, we finally got episode 8 in Japan, and Netflix has just been radio silent about when the hell they're releasing it to the rest of the world. This is like, if they want to be like, yeah, we're gonna switch back to our month long gap, which makes no fucking sense because you release it weekly again at that point. So I don't know what time they're saving here. Either way,
we're just never gonna finish this fucking show.
This is stupid. I want to finish the show. It's so good, and I'm so afraid I'm going to lose the hype for it because
I kind of can't wait to watch that dumb intro again. It's pretty funny.
Dude, this is it's on my running playlist. I love that intro. So I'm excited for this, and Netflix is pissing me off.
Tyler, did we ever show you the intro?
No.
I thought we did.
All
I
right.
thought we like watched one episode with you or something.
Nah, y'all don't show me shit.
All right,
Okay.
we should show you the
After this,
opening
should
after this.
show
Not
you
even
the opening because it's you'll appreciate it too.
it's video game references. Not starting the conversation again. Anyway, but in addition to pissing us off, Netflix is pissing off some bigger people. So for anyone who doesn't know, Netflix has started their like ad-supported tier, which I guess is cheaper. But when they threw it out there, apparently their partnership with the NHK, like one of the biggest broadcasting companies in Japan, had like a rider on there about like not being eligible for ads. And Netflix was like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't notice that. We'll like make sure that your shows just don't show ads." And NHK is like, "Nah, losers, you broke the rules. Remove the shows."
Damn.
Like NHK just doesn't care. They're like, "Nope, violated it. Get our shit off your platform." So they played hardball on this. So yeah. I don't know which shows it was because it wasn't that many anymore, and most of them were like Japan only. But it's still someone playing hardball with Netflix. Hopefully they don't turn to the dark side and put their shit on Disney Plus like everyone else. Anyway, that's it for the Weeb shit. There have been a bunch of like show announcements for next season that I'm just not paying attention to for a while until we know what's going to be good.
No big sequels for next season that have really been like, ooh, I know I'm going to need to watch that next show.
Besides like Vinland,
yeah,
I think,
which hasn't really had any announcements in a couple weeks or so.
No, it just had the director going on a press tour to be like, guys, please, like, temper your expectations for this season.
It's a different show, I swear. It's not our fault. It's the manga. We didn't do it.
It's Farmland Saga season 1. Please respect this.
Yeah. So that's wow. This is the fastest podcast ever. It's great. So the only thing I'm gonna say here, because I have nothing to contribute, the Steam Deck has been out for a hot minute. And first Tyler and now Friedman have both acquired them. So the easy question is, how is your guys' Steam Deck? I saw you both using them on Sunday. Tyler was using his as an emulator machine and was silent. Friedman was playing real video games and the fan was like a jet engine.
Whoa. I was playing my perfectly legal copy of God of War and Tokyo Extreme Racer 0 or 3, I mean, yeah. Completely legal.
and I was trying to play Temtem for context. Um, but yeah, so that was not my first experience with the Steam Deck. I'd already have it. I got it like a day or two before Thanksgiving. So I had a chance to run through a bunch of different types of games on it, and I'll say that the fan blowing is like a core part of the you're playing a modern game experience. Um, this is a full ass computer in the palm of your hand. It's pumping out heat. So honestly, like my honest take on the Steam Deck is playing like the new cutting edge games. I don't know if I want to do it on a Steam Deck because A, it's loud, and B, the battery life takes a massive hit. But the magic of Steam, and part of the reason why I got the Steam Deck is just I have this massive library of older games. And I found that just basically anything older than 3 or 4 years ago runs super well on the Steam Deck and does not blow up the fans like Temtem was. So there's a very like specific use case for the Steam Deck, and I think Tyler, with his playing his perfectly legitimate copies of God of War and whatever the fuck that other game was, I think that use
Tokyo
case.
Extreme Racer 3.
Yes,
Thank you.
the game that you legally acquired and then used EmuDeck to run or whatever.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if you want to use EmuDeck, beating around the bush here because we know Nintendo sponsors this podcast, right? If you're gonna emulate or use EmuDeck, like the Steam Deck is probably like the best emulation handheld. Like I follow a lot of the new ones that are coming out, always waiting to try to get the better one, and I don't need to pay attention to them anymore because the Steam Deck is the one. Like the fact that we can do GameCube and PS3 games is absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah, it's very good at doing like lower end games. Like if it's though it depends. I think I tried playing Dark Tide, but that was a bad benchmark because it has optimization issues right now. But my friend has been able to play Call of Duty on it though,
Oh
the new
wow.
one. Yeah, he's been able to play Modern Warfare 2 on it.
Damn, he's eating up his whole hard drive with that thing.
Yeah. Well, he also installed like a 2 terabyte M.2, so
Oh, never mind. He's good then.
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, I should have bought a bigger drive because that's what I did for the listeners at home. I bought the cheapest one and I bought a 256 gig for like $30.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't at
It,
least go for like the half terabyte.
I didn't think I would need that much, and I was like, if I want more, then like I'll just like I don't know, like get an SD card and then move my emulation games to the SD card.
Yeah, I've been splitting the games between the main drive and SD, and I'm not noticing it that slowly on SD card.
Yeah, like honestly, like the biggest one I'd like I don't have like the games I'm downloading to it, like they're not large either. So it's been like whatever.
Yeah, I'm noticing only because with the Steam Deck now, I'm actually noticing what the install sizes are on these games, and everything's either like under a gig or 20 gigs, and there's no middle ground.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I downloaded when I tried it was like I was trying to play Dark Tide and that was like 40 gigs out of like my 250 gigs. So like whatever, and it didn't work, so I just uninstalled. I was like whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
But overall, like
I
build quality of the device. What do you feel about it?
in some parts I feel like it's lacking. Like as far as build quality goes, like some parts feel cheap. Like the analog sticks are kind of meh, but I dig the triggers. The buttons are all right. Yeah, like I think it's all right. I wouldn't say it's the most stellar thing. It did fall off my chair once though, and it was
Ooh,
fine after. So
oh, that's
like,
good.
I mean, that's a pretty good drop drop test if there
Yeah.
ever was one. The thing I will say though, that I'll give it major points for, that I don't think they definitely don't advertise it, and I don't really recommend it either unless you really know what you're doing. Like I mentioned before that I swapped out my hard drive, right? Uh,
Oh yeah, that you can just replace any component on this thing.
yeah, like you can do that, and you can image it with a new with SteamOS, right? Like you would any computer.
Yeah.
But like they don't openly advertise that. Like they did, I feel like intentionally make this thing very easy to swap out parts. Like I can swap out the analog sticks or the triggers, like anything I want to. If like some third party makes it, like Valve is like, yeah, you can do that. We're gonna, for legal reasons, we won't tell you how to do it, but we're not gonna be mad at you for it either. Like, it's one of those wink wink things.
Yeah, it's like we can't acknowledge it because then we have to like actually provide support, so we're not. But like, just go do it over there, and I won't say anything.
Yes, I mean, same thing too with it being the operating system. Why am I blanking?
What, SteamOS versus
Ubuntu.
Windows, or
Well, I mean, SteamOS is just a version of oh my god,
Linux?
I'm having a stroke.
no? You're
Linux.
talking
There.
about I thought you were talking about a particular like Linux
No.
strain. What the fuck are they called? Distros?
No, I mean, Steam OS is like is made from Linux. It's a
Yeah,
Linux based operating system. And like you can basically do whatever the fuck you want on it. But again, they won't, like, tell you. Also, they give you Steam OS for free. They literally like, yo, here, do whatever you, and they literally say, like, basically do whatever the fuck you want with it.
it's really cool though when if you ever do go into desktop mode, which you have to do if you want to install EmuDeck. It's a whole ass computer. It's pretty
It is
wild.
a whole ass. It is. It is a whole ass.
Either way, I'm enjoying it so far. I love how comfortable this thing is in the hand. The only downside this thing has over like a smaller handheld for like emulation is I'm used to just like holding on to these things with one hand, and the Steam Deck is way too heavy to hold with just one hand. Um, but overall, yeah, I'm enjoying the whole PC and a handheld experience. Is wild. It's just like Switch, just except I have a million games already that don't all cost $60.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
All right, so it's got 4 thumbs way up from the two of us.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's worth the $400. If it fits your use cases, it's worth the $400.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think when it first got announced, we had a whole bit where I was like, "This is going to be a perfect product for a very particular market." And if you want to, if you listeners go dig up that clip, that if you're in that audience that I mentioned way back then congratulations. Because I don't remember what audience that was, but I'm pretty sure it was right.
Uh,
All
And
right.
then our before edging into our watched and played for while we've been gone. There is one show that the three of us are watching together, just the three of us, and we'll hopefully watch one after this. The Gunned Arm, which for Mercury.
What kind of gun format mobile suit is that?
In spite of Friedman's frustration that they are selling out every single kit for this show every single time any of them go on sale,
So stupid.
the show
hate
is
this.
not actually astoundingly good. It's good.
I won't say it's
Not
not
good.
good. I'll say it's not entertaining.
It's got problems. So we wanted to talk about, since it's the one thing all three of us can talk about and are watching, kind of what we could think it can do better and kind of what some of the problems are. And I think right away the easy answer is one of the biggest problems is that this show just is too much of a high school drama.
Yeah, I think more specifically, because as Gundam fans, we're conditioned for a certain type of plot line. I'm noticing this now that I've finished Zeta and started Double Zeta, and it goes from the end of a war to literally just a character playing babysitter for 4 episodes. And it's that we've gone from a series where it's usually stakes are pretty intense, like there's a lot of important shit happening, and now we're in a high school where it's just a low stakes environment where the worst case thing that can happen is, oh, someone has to fix your robot and you have to retake the test tomorrow. Like it's not
That
it's
whole
not
scene,
significant enough.
that whole scene when she was taking the test and she kept failing and they kept being like, I get a redo because reasons. I get a redo. And then they're just like, oh, someone was an asshole, so you get to retake the test like a week later now. Like that just felt really weird, and like the stakes just don't feel high, and the
Yeah.
animation is really pretty, but it's like they just don't want to commit to a long running fight between anybody.
No,
Like
it's very clear they're spending a lot of money in these fights and they don't want them going that long.
yeah, like they're not willing to let the fight just play out. They're kind of just like, oh, here's a 5-minute fight and we're done.
I think it might also just be limited to the fact that these are all 1v1 fights, and when it comes to Gundam, like a lot of it is like groups versus groups. Like there's a bit of there's more dynamic to the fights where this is just straight up one-on-one, and they don't want to go so far into this person's winning now, this person's winning. Oh, the first wait, no, the main protagonist uses their ability.
I can
They just want to
understand
throw
not
them at
wanting a
each
fight
other.
to drag on. Excuse me, but there's something to be said for having the fight resolve too simply. Like there's literally every fight is she starts off strong. The other person has a good move. Ariel did the work and saved
Oh, the
her.
gun bits.
And the fight is
The
over.
gun bits.
Who knew that
See,
drones are really good?
See, it sounds like I'm making fun of when I call them gun bits, but that's what they actually are, and that's the worst part.
Gun
I
bits.
know.
I don't know. Like it's cool to see. Like I like seeing like those shots in the 0G fight when like the drones fly up behind Ariel and all plug in together to be like a thrusters thing. That's fucking rad. Like seeing it be like a transformative thing, or even when they're like spinning around, like when they did that in episode 1 when they did the like instant cut and they all just slice that guy in one shot.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. But then it's just like,
All right, but how many scenes like that do we get for high school bits though?
well, and that's the problem. Like so much of it is like, oh my god, the power struggles of this family. Like Freeman, I know you've said multiple times while you've been watching, like every Gundam has like a political element to it, which is fine and good. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But like it feels like this is the same as always, where it's like, this technology is too advanced for you. We don't like that you have this technology. We're gonna
That's
take it for
literally
ourselves.
every war. Every war is like this, Tim. I don't know how to tell you.
Like, I don't know. I can't escape Iron-Blooded Orphans, okay? That just felt so different and was so interesting and was such a different take on the story of the like this story has, okay, she's from Mercury. Mercury kids are losers. That's why it's so hard. Like, no one expects anything of her except she immediately like wins one fight, becomes engaged to like this quote unquote princess, has this whole house of racist Earth kids.
I would say we haven't touched on the fact there is space racism here, and it sounds like it's going to be bigger later. Because right now it's just kind of a very minor hurdle.
It just feels like in the whole high school setting, like they can't get away from it being a high school setting at its core. Whereas, again, Iron-Blooded Orphans was literally kids who are being like targeted with racism and are like, who cares? We used to just die on the battlefield, and now they're being racist. Like that's nothing. We used to have guns pointed at us all the time.
Yeah, but these are such very different characters we're talking about
no,
here.
Freeman, I get that, but this is just making me
this
long.
girl has a harem, Tim. Come on.
This is just making me long for the grittiness and a different take. Like maybe it's because I know we've talked about Tyler like burning out on anime a lot. I have definitely on this podcast talked about being less drawn to anime lately because like over the last year or two, because so much of it feels so similar a lot of the time. Like I get much more enjoyment these days out of shows that do not follow the same convention. Like Chainsaw Man this week, Jesus, like Tyler, I know when Chainsaw Man started, and Freeman was like this too, but all of us were like, this is kind of just Jujutsu again. And then the episode from today, Val and I watched it over dinner. Fucking jeez, this show is not just Jujutsu Kaisen again.
Good.
Damn.
My Hero, like, yeah, they're doing not high school shit. I'm just looking through Bleach. I haven't watched Bleach, but like no new show does what Bleach does because other shows don't have 300 episodes. Eminence in Shadow, it's like the joke show of the season. It spoofs everything. Then there's Gundam, and then there's Spy Family, and Spy Family is still one of the most fun, unique concepts for a show ever. So, like, nothing on my list is like a big, just a generic high school show.
Nothing on your list is.
No, Freeman, I get that, but I'm not projecting. I'm saying
what I'm trying to say is not on your list, but there are a shit ton that people in Japan love.
I know,
They love high school shows,
and
and
that
that's
was a
why
mistake.
Gundam is doing this.
I don't get it.
What's actually happening is the Gundam team has decided that the alternate universes are for onboarding kids into building the Gundams, and then Universal Century is the
Which is
nitty
why
gritty.
the aerial units are gonna sell forever and ever and ever.
Yeah,
because that's
which
a
is why
good
the
Gundam
last
design.
between Iron Blood Orphans and now, we got like 3 different build series that were all just about kids building Gundams and the appeal of being a kid and seeing the Gundam. And I'm hoping that's not what they're capitalizing on with Witch from Mercury, because it didn't seem like they were going to. But after 8 episodes, it kind of feels like they are.
And after 8 episodes, like, look at all these toys.
It's like you can go to school and pilot your Gundam. By the way, go pre-order it. Like I'm really hoping that's not what this is. Like I'll get to it a little bit in the what we watched, but like after watching Zeta Gundam, it was infuriating. There was a fight every single episode, even though there was like no reason for there to be. And one of the demands was, in order to sell more toys, was there must be a Gundam fight in every single episode, even if there's no point to it. So there's so many episodes where just a villain shows up, they shoot at each other, and everyone gets away. And it was part of their strategy, and I'm hoping their strategy of the show isn't just throw more high grade kits at the viewers and move really fast and flash bright colors, and then all the high school kids build your Gundams. I'm really hoping that's not what this is, but I'm starting to lose hope that that's exactly what this is.
Well, I think we'll find out before too long. Like I said, we'll watch. Which one are we on? We're episode 9 is what we'd be watching after this, with only 3 more afterward.
Anyway, the point of this conversation wasn't do we like it or not. It was where it is right now. What do you want to see it do to turn it around?
Stop being in high school.
Same.
I know that's too easy.
Anything else than the low hanging fruit?
I don't know how to turn it around, because so much of it is like another case of another high school show. I don't want to say Kaguya, because it's definitely wrong to compare Kaguya to this at all, but it's the same Japan like high school show of look at this school for elites, so everyone is like, every kid is somehow more important than like the president of the fucking country shit. Like,
I did compare this show to Kakaguri, but with Gundam fights.
And you weren't wrong on that
Kakaguri
one.
wasn't about them getting hot and heavy for the fights, and was instead about mechs, or wasn't getting hot and heavy about betting. It was just a much more kids level show about mechs. Yeah, I could see that.
All right, pause. We keep the hot and heavy about gambling, but make the gambling exclusively about Gundams, and then you've got my interest.
Yeah, sure, but this is not hot and heavy. This is for kids, like you said.
Yeah.
Also, Kakaguri got
we don't have anybody
terrible
chilling
after
off.
got bad season 2, so like I don't need this to be another Kakaguri.
True.
Like I'm not saying.
Oh, you want to finish that gun joke?
Go bad and retroactively.
No, it's fine. I'll let the listeners rewind back and see if they try to figure out like chilling off with the gun. What the fuck, like?
All right,
Freeman, what would you do?
The politics needs to have a way closer pull. Like let's say she goes into the next duel, and there's just more bigger stakes about who wins the duel. We've seen a lot about the different companies being like invested in the students that are there, but I want to see more of why. Like it put a significance on this and make these like shitty duels at the school like have more meaning other than whoever's number one might be implied to have some shit further on. Like
it is.
I don't want implications. I want straight up spell out what does what they're doing in school have to do with the bigger story.
That is a fair point, Freeman, and the reason that sounds funny is oh god, I had a point I wanted to say, and I just totally lost it.
Way to go!
Fuck! Oh my god, what happened when in one? Oh my god, my brain cells disconnected while I was talking.
Yep, that's what happens.
Oh, well, about the stakes.
That's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, about the stakes. Every fight is like, I want you to say I'm sorry to me. If I win, I take your Gundam away. And it's like, well, no, you thank you for telling us she can't lose this fight, because again, they're not gonna take her Gundam away.
Yeah, like, what if they take her Gundam away this time?
Oh my god.
I'm joking. They've been relying on that plot a lot.
Oh no, we took our Gundam away.
Everything has been revolving around them taking her Gundam away.
And you know what it's going to be? She's going to be like, but Ariel's my sister. And then Ariel's going to, like, turn itself on and fly back to her. And it's going to be like, Ariel, you really were my sister in the
Can you
machine all
stop
along.
spoiling episode 9 for all of our viewers, Tim? This is ridiculous. All right.
Anyway, it could get better. We're probably gonna finish out the season. I mean, there's only a few episodes left at this point.
Yeah, plus they're going on a huge hiatus
I was gonna
going
say,
into
Tyler,
January.
actually, you probably didn't see it on our anime today, but they said they're taking a break, and then, like, it's like next week, and then Christmas, and then after the New Year.
For context, there are airing conflicts on TV. It's not that the studio's taking a break.
It's always fucking whatever dumb holiday stuff on TV.
Do you think Japan actually gives a shit about anime? They bump that shit off the second another show's ready to go.
I know, and it's the problem that it's because Japan refuses to just go to streaming, because streaming companies are like, who the fuck cares about stuff on TV? We're just put 5 things out every day anyway.
They're going through the DVR revolution right now. It's wild.
Yeah, wasn't it that stat was like Spy Family was the most DVR'd show of the entire year by like a lot?
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, why the fuck are they measuring DVR stats right now?
Yo, anyone got TiVo still?
Japan always feels like this futuristic place, and then you just hear about how their tech stack is just 20 years behind what you'd expect to be normal.
Yo, any country that still has a large presence of arcades is both doing something right and about 50 years behind.
Like the monkey's paw. You get the arcade, but you have to use a fax machine.
But at the same time, your internet speeds are the fastest on the planet.
Yeah, see, it's
so you can play your gacha games on your phone while you're waiting for the fax machine.
Yeah, so you can fax your bank to send you more money for the gacha game that's running at max speed on your phone. What a world we live in.
Speaking of gacha games, truly there is no anime more gacha game than an anime about 5 girls in a harem.
Well, actually, no, because you mentioned gacha games. We'll do this one first because they keep making gacha game references in it. Oh shit, it went away. Our favorite anime about lovey-dovey couples and doing their own nonsense, Tony Kawa,
the best romance anime,
had one of their OVAs finally came out on Crunchyroll. This was the uniform episode.
It literally is called the uniform episode.
Yeah, so this one came, I think it was like a week or two after we got like the season 2 visual. This just surprise dropped on Crunchyroll. Or no, I think this may have been announced previously, but it was a surprise for me.
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise. They announced this a while ago.
Either way, fun, cutesy episode. He did reference that seeing Tsukasa in a certain outfit was like getting an SSR, so that was where the gotcha link was for the episode.
I forgot about that.
But overall, good OVA, enough to keep me held over and remind me the show exists as they're going to hype us up for season 2.
Yeah, it was nothing crazy. It was a funny kind of, look, obviously not like R-rated or anything, but like they actually kind of touched
borderline
on, like,
ecchi
physical affection in an adult relationship, and
they fucking.
They kind of imply that they
yeah,
are.
Yeah, they might have.
They literally imply that they do now.
About goddamn time.
Tyler, for an anime, that's like,
I know, hand holding is fucking lewd as hell. I know.
Hold on. Tyler has a point though. Like when we were in high school, there was this anime I loved called Please Teacher. Sounds like a porno. It's not. It's got like a porno setup, but just like nothing ever happens in the whole show. And then the first OVA comes out, whatever. Second OVA comes out, main characters fuck in the second OVA.
Wow.
I was shocked they went that far with the romance, and it was like, it wasn't graphic. It was just like, you know, they say they're gonna do it. You hear the moans in the other room. You see some motion. They talk about it after. So like it happens. I want to see more anime. Like if they don't want to show it, fine, but like acknowledge it, talk about it.
No, this Tyler in this, she tries on like a school outfit and like a maid outfit at different points in the episode. And at one point, NASA's asleep, and he wakes up with her. She wakes him up in one of the uniforms, and he's like, not visibly excited, but he's acting very excited.
I was about to say, what kind of visibly excited
I
you
know.
see him, bro?
He's acting like very excited about it, and then he wakes up for real, and he's like, "Oh, it was just a dream," and he just wakes up and goes, "I think you look really good in that uniform. Please wake me up sometime in that uniform."
Hell yeah, brother. About goddamn time.
No, I can't wait for more Tony Kawa. It's so wholesome and fun. We're never going to find out if she's actually a moon goddess, and that's half the joke. The
That
OVA
is
Still
did
can't get over
not-
this part of the show.
The OVA did not open with the old opening, so we don't know if they no way to tell what the new if there will be a new one for season 2. If they're just gonna leave the banger of season 1.
No, they're definitely gonna give us a new
Yeah,
opening.
it's been
They gotta
too
promote
long.
a song. I've only seen one anime do this where fans demanded the original opening return
You've
and then it
talked about
happened.
this. I forget what it is.
Yeah. Shit, it's Database by Man with a Mission, but the name of the show is Log Horizon.
That's yes.
Yeah, that one came back with Database for opening 2. Phenomenal, and then they just ditched it for season 3. Understandably, it had been so long at that point. But either way, Tony Kawa at some point, we'll be talking about it again.
But now onto the real romance.
Oh boy. The spiciest spice that ever spiced. The Quintuplets movie was in theaters last Friday, and all 4 of the boys, Luigi included, went to go see this. And the whole before we even talk about the movie, yeah, we gotta talk about the viewing experience.
Oh,
So-
so good. As
Listeners,
someone, as someone who did not watch this show, I am still so glad I went to go see this movie with you guys.
I want you to close your eyes and imagine what type of person would go see the quintessential Quintuplets movie in theaters the night it comes out. People who've watched both seasons of it and like enough to go watch this shit in public. Imagine that group of people. It was amazing. Everyone in that room,
95% dudes.
everyone in that room was in the Miku gang. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's broing out. Some dude can't control his burps in the movie.
Anytime
Bless
anyone
you.
sneezed, 5 guys would yell
Bless
out,
you.
"Bless you."
Bless you. It was hilarious. This was comedy of the year.
This was such a fun experience. It really was great.
But to talk about the actual movie,
It was alright.
I've known for a while it was okay. Listeners, spoilers. If you want, jump ahead because we're gonna talk about who wins the sisters war
Who
here.
wins?
So I knew that Yotsuba was gonna win for a while just because like shitty Facebook comments of people like blatantly spoiling it. So it sucked. And then after watching the movie, I decided to read a couple of the chapters when I got home, and I started noticing something that the movie did a little wonky. So you know how like there were just these constant long flashbacks that just like went on for way too long and broke up the plot kind of
Mhm.
hard. Those originally were just chapters that would have been in season 2, and they just cut every single flashback from season 2. So they tried to insert them into the movie. But the problem is that was supposed to be your cue very early on that like Yotsuba is a contender, but she's so hung up on not standing out amongst her sisters that she now intentionally holds herself back. Like you were supposed to see that whole character arc play out intermingled with the whole like Ichigo betrayal during the school trip arc. Like those were supposed to be kind of happening at the same time. And we didn't get that. So we didn't get any of Yotsuba's shit until after she had already been crowned the queen. And that left a salty taste in my mouth. But I think that was a weird wording of that. But either way, they really screwed up with how they did season 2 of the manga. It made the movie kind of suffered for it. And on top of that, they didn't understand how to adapt the pacing of the manga to this movie. Like, you know, there was at the end, there was that one shot of just like everyone reaching their hands out in flower petals. And that sequence went on for like a minute because everyone had their version of the shot. That was 5, like, there was a row at the top of one page with the 5 cuts of that, and then the real dialogue that was supposed to be happening for that scene. And because they decided to just like animate individual panels, there was just these long drawn out bits that felt like they had no reason being in the movie.
True.
So
We
yeah,
kept running into. I mean, like I did, where it was like, there's a few places where I was like, man, this could have ended.
Yeah, it definitely felt a little long.
yeah, like you know the scene at the end where they're all in the dresses and he's guessing who's who.
Yeah.
Each girl had one page where it was intermingled of just the what Yotsuba said at the wedding and then what they said to Futaro as he recognized them. Like it was just 2 dialogue boxes, and each of those got stretched to 3 minutes a pop.
Yeah.
Like they really didn't understand how to rapid pace the final chapter, and they just decided to expand it into its own essentially third of the movie, which definitely killed the pacing of the ending.
Yeah. It definitely slowed down.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I was a huge fan of how they did the school festival arc, where you can kind of piece together the whole story by the 5th time you've gone through it.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything after the big reveal kind of sucked. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyone else have any spiciness to talk about for this, or are we ready to?
About this, nah.
All right, we're ready to hang up the towel. We're never talking about quintuplets again.
Yeah, basically,
Rip Miku gang.
Miku
Yotsu
gang.
Bros won
I
this
knew
one.
though. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, so I wasn't that upset about it.
The real question I have is, would I have been more salty if Itsuki won?
I
Because
would have been salty if
she
Itsuki
actually,
won.
of all the girls, didn't have a story arc.
Good fucker, bro.
She's the war criminal, right?
Yeah.
No. That was the one that wanted to be
Itsuki?
the teacher that I'm talking about.
Oh,
Oh wait. Oh, duh. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
easy way
thinking
to
of
remember. Itsuki is always eating.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
easy way to remember it. Ichika's
Yeah.
the war criminal,
Ichi. Yeah.
and she's the
I
oldest.
keep
Ichi,
the
number one.
eyes. The eyes are.
Oh, I had to go back and read that chapter to see how bad it was. It was brutal to look at that scene. Those eyes were crazy.
It was bad.
I did
War
almost
criminal.
think she would win, not knowing anything, because I thought they'd be like, "Oh, the teacher with the teacher," especially when they kept being like, "The mom was a teacher."
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they were trying to angle it from there and just go on that without her having like any real character arc. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I felt like she was always out of the running. The problem is she was the first girl he met on screen, and that dictates the rule: first girl wins. So
Mm.
she had that leg up in the competition, but subverting expectations.
Subverting expectations.
All right,
Wait,
let's
does
move.
Gundam subvert expectations?
First, we got to set our expectations, and to do that, I had to go back to the beginning and watch all the original Gundams. So I made it through Zeta and started Double Zeta this week. I'll just give my quick closing comments on Zeta Gundam. I talked about it a bit when I started, and I showed you guys like the ending song the first day I watched Zeta, because this aesthetic of Zeta Gundam was phenomenal. This was like peak, like early 80s. I don't think it was late Zeta. I'm pretty sure it was early 80s that Zeta came out, but it's got like every song has a funky bass line for no reason. It's really cool. And the show was really enjoyable. It was very like villain of the week episodic. Like I mentioned before, there's a Gundam fight in every single episode, even when there has no business being a fight. Overall was good. The ending, they like rushed up to an ending where nothing fucking happened and then everybody died. Very weird way to end a show, especially because the following week they came out with Double Zeta, the direct follow up to it. So they weren't even doing some kind of like big cliffhanger ending. What's gonna happen next? It's more like we're coming back next week with a new main character. Um, and then they tried this whole bit. Like I've started Double Zeta this week, and I'm honestly in shock at how fucking bad the opening song is.
Ugh.
The
Yeah.
opening, I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to convince people that the show is not a cartoon. Like this is a serious show and you should pay serious attention to it. So the opening is called Anime Janai, which means this is not an anime. So the chorus is this is not an anime, this is not an anime, this is really real, is the chorus of the
What?
opening. I shit you not. It sounds like
Oh
propaganda
God.
when I watch this shit. And it just feels like they're trying to convince you that Double Zeta is this serious show you should watch. But the first 13 episodes are like fucking Muppet Babies, where Commander Bright is the only one from the last shows here, and now there's all these like just teenagers who want to just pilot the Gundam, just showing up out of nowhere and doing random bullshit. And it's just like, why are you trying to convince me that this is serious when you're blatantly stepped down in seriousness from the show that no one thought was serious? So I don't know what's going on here. One of my friends said skip Double Zeta, but everyone on the internet says it lays a lot of like the plot groundwork for the movie Char's Counterattack, which is next on my list, as well as setting up something from Unicorn, which is the whole point of me watching Universal Century. So I feel like I need to just watch Zeta, or sorry, Double Zeta. So we'll see. If I really get sick of it, I may skip ahead, but I'm gonna give it a fair shake. And then for the next anime I finished,
Yeah.
Call of the Night. This one I was delaying a lot because I just didn't want to watch the last two episodes. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was about this show because while I didn't particularly like the plot, the aesthetic, the character design, and more importantly, the tone of the show all hit really hard, and I like it. A lot of these songs I'm gonna remember forever. They're super iconic, especially the ending song, with that animation of Nazuna. But as I'm watching the last iteration of the ending running at the end of the episode, it suddenly hits me what this show is. This is Fooly Cooly for this generation. This is that weird show about a kid who's growing up and he runs into this girl who's weird, and the whole show has this one band's sound style to it, and it's got a very unique aesthetic. I think this might just be like the modern Fool. I say this as someone who doesn't like Fooly Cooly. This is the modern Fooly Cooly. I'm not sure that's too
I didn't watch
controversial.
No,
to
I mean
say,
I
but
get it. I watched Fooly Cooly a few times. Furikuri a few
Cootie
times.
Cootie. But you get what I'm saying.
Honestly,
Like
I never really thought it was that great. But I get
uh,
what you're saying, like the
yeah,
mood and like
it's a show where
that
like
kind
it's an aesthetic. It's something that you're gonna like discover when you're a teenager, and it's gonna be like, whoa, this is me. This is cool. I like this.
to me for me IRL.
Pretty much. Like I feel like that's what this show is gonna be in my mind. It's always gonna be like this was like 2022's Fooly Cooly. Except even though I like the musical choices, not as good as the pillows.
Yeah.
God, how much shit did I put on the fucking list for this week?
Well,
Oh my god.
basically everything
A
until what
lot.
I just added.
All right. So I'm gonna run this real fast, then I may have to step away and use the restroom real quick. But in terms of games started, part of getting the Steam Deck meant that I had no excuse to not play Temtem anymore because it fits the whole mold of I want to play a modern Pokemon game. Why don't you play the closest modern knockoff? So I started Temtem. And it's interesting. I didn't realize it's a full always online MMO style game, even though like there's almost no co-op so far. So far, game's interesting. I'm realizing how much of Pokemon was just that I love the Pokemon themselves. Because playing Temtem, I have zero attachment to these creatures, and they all kind of look a little wonky. But gameplay wise, it's like playing Pokemon on hard mode, just because like it's actually somewhat challenging and the
Radical
mechanics are a little
Red.
bit deeper. It's kind of, except if Radical Red was 2v2s exclusively, I would say it and Temtem are a lot closer because there's so much more depth to 2v2s. Like that's why I like the Pokemon Coliseum games because it wasn't as just straightforward as 1v1. Especially now with like in Temtem, there's a lot of modifiers. Like your Pokemon's moves may be stronger if the other Pokemon you have out is a certain type. So there's more team building creativity that can happen now. So it's kind of interesting, but again, it may just be that I'm not really that in love with the Pokemon formula as a whole anymore. It's fun. This is the show I'm like playing when I'm watching something in English on the TV. But overall, pretty cool. Next one. This was the game I'm trying to blitz through before The Witcher 3 next gen update comes out. But Devil May Cry 5.
Let's go.
I
Yeah,
have,
I heard you started playing that game.
yeah, I think I have 3 levels left in the game because I had off last Monday and I had nothing else to do, so I just like played a lot of Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
It's very fun. I like this game. I remember playing Devil May Cry 1 on PS2 and just straight up not enjoying any of it. But 5 is just so stylized and funny that I'm
It's
just having a
also
blast.
easier to just play, I think.
Yeah, I was able to just jump in pretty quickly. Like the game throws you in with like it's interesting how in the first game it's just kind of like, hey, you're in a room, like try to get an S combo, and it's like I have no idea what I'm doing. Whereas with this game, you walk into the first room and you can't do anything. You only have your single melee attack for like the first level, and then they're like, hey, do you want to upgrade like a 2-hit melee combo? Like the game it eases you in from the beginning, but it also you can go pretty fast if you want to. Like you don't need to master the combo system to start playing the game. But it gives you
with
all the tools.
Dante, I don't know if anyone on more than 5 people on planet Earth have ever mastered all of his combo systems. So
Yeah, I'm at the point where I can only remember like 2 of his weapons and 2 of his firearms at a time during a given fight. I can't rotate through all 4 of each of them. It's just too much to think about. Even though I realize that's the key to getting triple S is just rotating his stuff because I think you get a bonus for swapping your weapons.
Yes, and just keep
always
them combos
anything
up.
you
Yeah,
do that's
it's-
different is a bonus.
It's wild. I am having fun. The boss fights are challenging though. Like I think I'm on one of the levels where it just opens with a boss fight, so I have to.
Wait, is this the first one that you played?
Technically, I played like 4 hours of one and said I'm not having fun and put that down like decades ago.
Yeah, I played way through 3 and I was like, eh. And then I played 4, which like I thought the story was kind of shit, but like I thought the gameplay was really good though.
You know what's funny? I played through the remake, and that's the only one of these I've ever played through. I did an
Really?
LP of that years ago, or the reboot.
Oh, you mean the
reboot?
Oh, you're talking
soft
about
reboot, you mean?
DMC. I thought you were saying like they remade one. I was like, when did they do this?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
that
no.
flop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
the flop. Yeah, I don't know why I thought it looked interesting, but I was like, "No, this is a reboot. Maybe I have a chance to play Devil May Cry." And then I wasn't very good at it, and it wasn't very good.
I don't know. The
Sorry, just
big
play
thing,
God of War instead, honestly.
Yeah, God of War is
Like
pretty good.
original, I mean.
Well, I did play all
Like it was
those, so
literally like just better God of or better DMC in my opinion. Like DMC had like the style and everything, but I think God of War is what it kind of wanted to go for, I guess, but like more Japanese.
I mean, part of why I jumped in was because I enjoyed Bayonetta when that came out, and everyone always says it's just like DMC.
Hmm.
well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
What?
Bayonetta is made by
I
the
was
guy
thinking
who
about
made
playing DMC
DMC One,
5.
so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I remember when he moved on, and I was like, this is the next iteration of that whole franchise, and it was stylistically a little different. One thing I did want to talk about with Devil May Cry is I did not realize Johnny Young Bosch voices Nero, and I was so shocked to see him in this game.
oh,
Don't know why. I haven't heard his voice in anything in so long, but he's very nostalgic. 'Cause he used to be in just everything. All right. Oh, and then last game I can talk about because I don't think I actually talked about it on the last episode, but I finally beat the Witcher 3 main campaign
hell
after
About
yeah!
fucking
like
time.
like a year and a half, 2 years now. I don't know how long I've been on and off playing this game. Um,
Too
but I'm
goddamn long.
look honestly, I picked up this playing strategy because it allowed me to not get burnt out on Witcher at all. I just stopped playing when I didn't want to, and then picked it up again when it felt fresh. And because of that, the whole game felt fresh to me. Like I didn't get tired of it at any point.
Freeman, you know what? That's okay because as soon as you finally start playing the DLC, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I don't want to stop playing this game at all."
Yeah, I don't know. I might plan a large break between DLC 1 and DLC 2 just to piss you guys off.
They're not the same size at all. DLC 1, Hearts of Stone, is just a large, very involved quest. DLC 2 is here's a region that's like the size of a third of the made map.
Well, don't they also add just like regular quests into the open world?
I mean, maybe, but
I mean, I'm
I can't
pretty
remember
sure
exactly. But
I
like,
have at least 3 quests that are labeled from the blue DLC, so I figured it was a bunch of different things
there
got
probably
added.
is. But I'm just saying, like, they like put in content and stuff. But the second DLC is look at this whole fucking giant zone that's amazing.
Yeah. All right, so then I'll plan around the idea that DLC 2 is most likely going to be a single playthrough, don't break it up. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm
All
going to step
right.
away for a second, but Tyler, do you want to begin talking
Yeah.
about your.
Yeah, this is my stuff.
Go
So
ahead.
I didn't read all of these, but I listened to them. Uh I think I talked about how I've like got a I got like a Audible subscription like over the summer and I just started listening to books more. It's mostly because I've just been doubling up on stuff and I was trying to catch up on a series before the latest book came out and I'll talk about that after this. But the recent string of books I've listened to were the Temeraire books. Uh Actually Leslie got me into this series like forever ago. Like I think it was like when we were in college, she like recommended him to me, and I got to like book 4. Actually, I'll never forget because this is back when she like used to never loan shit out to me, and I was going back to Arizona, and I was like, "Hey, can I just borrow these and I'll send them back?" And she's like, "Absolutely not." So I was like, "Fine." I was like, "I guess I'm not reading these books again." And then I ended up buying them later on down the line, but then I never got around to it. So I was like, "Whatever." Um, and then recently I was like, "Oh, I need something to listen to." I was like, I'll get back into the Temeraire books, and these books are basically about they take place around like the late 1800s, and it's during or it. Oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought. Um, it takes place in a world that has dragons in it.
In a world that has dragons in it.
Basically, yeah, that's the idea, and like I think, and then they introduced in this last book that I listened to, they introduced another like mythical kind of beast that's not really iconic. They're like kind of, I guess, like akin to dragons ish. Um, but yeah, like it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of action in it. The characters are interesting. I'm like starting to kind of lose interest in it. I think just because there's so much, but I think overall they're pretty cool. If you like dragons, it's fun and like that Victorian age era or whatever. It's written by Naomi Novik. Uh, Val knows about her. They remember that book that she loaned Leslie and never got back. Tim.
Try
Oh
to be more
yeah,
specific.
Yeah, well, there's one in particular. Um, yeah, she wrote that one.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I'll keep listening to them, but the next thing up on my docket is this other series that I've gotten into. Um, but yeah, and then I also read the last book in the Wax and Wayne series, uh, called The Lost Metal. It's pretty dope. I don't know if I talked about.
Can
I
you
feel
give us
like
like
I
a
have
short
though.
summary of what this series is about?
Yeah, the Wax and Wayne series. It's a follow up series to the Mistborn trilogy that I talked about earlier this year. That's all part of like the Brandon Sanderson books, right?
Yeah,
Um,
the Sand and Branderson.
the Sand and Branderson. Um, and in this world, or like this section of his, like he calls it the Cosmere. Uh, the people who inhabit this planet have these things called the metal arts, and it sounds really fucking dumb on paper. It's like, listen, these guys eat metal and they get superpowers from it. It's like, what?
Metal
Um,
Eaters.
yeah, it's weird. Like, if you eat steel, you can push on metal. Like, say like I eat metal, you have like your glasses, or like you're wearing like, I don't know, some metal. I can just push you or push it away,
Hmm.
right? And like the way he does it is off of like physics and everything, or like if you swallow copper, you can dissipate everybody else's abilities, or like you can turn the moods of people, right? It's really interesting, but the story is pretty cool. Like the original trilogy was more like a heist, and I think it was pretty cool. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Like I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. Like I thought it was objectively good. But this Wax and Wayne series, which takes place 300 years after the last book, the Hero of Ages, is a buddy cop rom about this sheriff and his deputy, and he used to be what equates to the Wild West, and he gets called back to the city where he is a part of this affluent family to be the lord of their household after being the sheriff in this Wild West town for 15 years.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really like it. Actually, I think I recommended it to you, Tim.
You probably
Um,
did.
I did. I think I heavily recommended this one. I think this would be up your alley. My only problem is it's like if you so there's four books. It turned into like a quint. He like Brandon
Hmm.
Sanderson, like the author, doesn't recognize it as a quint, but it is because he came out with The Alloy of Law, which was the first book in this whole thing, and it was only supposed to be a standalone book, and he was like, yo, I like these characters so much, I'm gonna make a whole trilogy on it. So like, I don't know, it's where it's supposed to be the standalone and then three books, but it's all kind of the same story, if in my opinion. But I have it I with this last book I read, I feel like it's hard to recommend because it implicates so many other things. Like if you didn't read uh the author's like other stuff, you would be hard pressed to understand what was going on. Like Cosmere, like what is Cosmere stuff? What is investiture? I don't understand what this is. And like it's super meant for people who like read a lot of his other stuff, which is kind of annoying because I feel like I compare it to like other grandiose things like Stephen King's like universe and how he used the Dark Tower. It's like you can read the Dark Tower series or like any of the other like Stephen King novels and like you'd be fine. And I would argue that's very similar to like Sanderson's other stuff. But like this book in particular, like if you don't know what the fuck any of this stuff is, you can read it, but like you
You're
probably
not gonna
won't
get it.
understand. Yeah, like there's all these references and like people with different abilities from different planets show up and you're like, what the fuck? For me it's hype as fuck. I was like, yo, I can't wait. But like I'm like, I don't know if I can recommend this to people now. It's kind of annoying.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I'll be like, all right, well, now that you made it this far, now you got to read this and this. Oh, don't forget this. And now you're caught up. So yeah,
Cool.
it was good though. I feel like I failed to mention it. It was good. I don't think it was as good as the rest of the series, like the Wax and Wayne series, but it was still pretty good.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and I decided to not add my movie Blitz because I also watched a decent amount of movies this year or this month apparently.
Well, I'm
You
gonna.
can
Though
go for it
Too
if you
bad. I'm
want.
gonna do my movie Blitz.
I will say the only thing I will say is I watched Weird the Al Yankovic story.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
I liked it, but I feel like you obviously like people wouldn't like it unless you like Weird Al.
Okay, so like as someone who is a Weird Al fan, is it a
Yeah,
recommended watch? All right, cool.
I think it is, but also go into it like when you go into the movie, just know like
I know it's
how do I
exaggerated.
it's a lot of it is exaggerated. Like a lot of these things did happen, but like a lot of it is exaggerated and like the more the movie goes on, I think, and that's what kind of happened with me at first. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I didn't know what to make of it, and then as it went on, I started getting the joke a little more, and it started to become like as the movie went on, it got better. So I recommend it. I think it's pretty funny.
All right, cool. I'll definitely give it a shot then.
Yeah, it's good.
'Cause It
Yeah,
was it was on my radar, but I was like cautious about it.
yeah, I think it's worth a shot. If you like Weird Al, it's worth a watch.
All right, cool.
Well, um, well, this is part of the movie Blitz, but I realized looking at my calendar, I don't think we had talked about this last podcast, or did we?
Oh, No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
I I thought we might have, but
I thought we did.
I don't
Either way, we
have.
can do a short combo on it.
Real quick, let me just double check the show notes before I say anything. Yeah, we didn't. So yeah, we finally caught Freeman up with all the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. We showed Freeman No Time to Die.
It's very good.
I still think it was very good. Second or third best Daniel Craig
Aiden
movie.
was super mad about it.
Yeah.
Oh, Aiden?
Yeah, you remember? He was like, this is whatever.
Yeah, it's Aiden. Whatever.
I'm trying to. Did he watch the rest of them, or he was just jumping in on this?
No, that was the first one he watched.
All right, so I guess he's missing a lot of the payoff about why a good number of things mattered in this
I think
movie.
Aiden's just more of all, just not as into that kind of movie.
No,
Anyway,
he's not.
he just seemed pretty mad about the whole thing.
Understandable too.
I still think No Time to Die is awesome, and I still think my dad and my brother are wrong when they say it's not good.
Yeah, because they are wrong.
Yeah, that was like what they think. Are they putting it on like Quantum of Solace level,
No,
or
they have it in fourth place.
okay, so they have it above it. But
Yeah, I have
Interesting.
I have Skyfall as the best, and then you could argue this or Casino because they're so different, and then probably Spectre, and then Quantum.
I think I just really like the tone of Casino Royale. Not gonna lie.
No, that's totally fair. And anyway, we don't have to linger. We've talked about it before on the podcast, and Freeman finally got to see it. No Time to Die is a solid send off to Daniel Craig. I'm just gonna blitz through 5 other things I watched. I realized I watched a lot of live action stuff actually since the last podcast. Saw Black Panther in theaters. Boy, is that movie good, but not even a little. It's too long.
It is too long.
Wait, how long is it?
It's like
It's
2.5
like
hours.
2.5
dude.
hours long.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's
Man,
a long
everyone should
movie.
complain about that.
Look, it's hard not to talk about this movie and not talk about the very untimely passing. This movie to me really strongly speaks of we knew what this story was going to be, and we couldn't really afford to shake it up crazy too much. So we kind of took the building blocks and then also not crammed in, but like had to make space for the big funeral sequence at the beginning for him. And then all the different little subplot things about, him being dead and the sister taking up the mantle, which isn't a spoiler, it's in the trailers.
It's in the comics.
Yeah, and all the other stuff that they kind of resolve about family and everything like that.
Family.
So it really feels like this movie just had a little too much going on, and could definitely have been trimmed down. Not bad, but by the end I was like, oh my god. And then there's, of course, the very classic Marvel stuff, like watching the final action scene, you're like, I know what every single beat of this fight is going to be. There's going to be like there's kind of a pseudo Iron Man character in this movie, someone with a suit of armor that can fly. And they're fighting, obviously it's like the water movie. They're fighting on water.
Pseudo Iron Man. I mean, she's technically Iron Man now.
Yeah,
she
I know. But there's a scene where the character in the suit flies into the water, and it cuts to one of the lieutenants of the main villain looking at them, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna grab onto her, and then she's gonna deal some damage, but then she's gonna shake her off, and then she's gonna be like, I'm hurt, but I'm okay, and then no one's gonna die. And yes, no character who has a name in this movie dies, even though many people apparently die. No one.
It's like every time Wakanda has a military action, no one of significance dies, but a lot of people die.
Sorry, I shouldn't say characters don't die, but they never die in combat ever.
I do have a lot of problems with this movie though. Like I thought it was good.
I forgot
I thought,
saw it.
You saw. Huh? Oh yeah, so I put it on my letterbox.
I totally forgot you had. That's my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a few flaws with it, or like I have a few gripes, but I do like how they kept a lot of things secret though, because like I won't spoil it, but if you like read comics or like anything from like Marvel or whatever,
you can. Oh wait, oh sorry, you're talking about a spoiler for the series, not a spoiler for this particular movie.
No, it's for the. I don't know.
It's also
so they don't reveal in the trailer who the bad guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to spoil the movie, you're fine. I don't give a shit about this, and you just warn the viewers like I do before I spoil
the viewers. I'll spoil it. Skip ahead. Like I'll say the name now. Namor is the bad guy, and I thought they did a really good job hiding because I had no clue. I had zero clue, and like
showed up
when they were out in the water and they're doing shit, I was like, "Is this Namor?" And like Michelle's like, "Who?" I'm like, "You don't know who it is. It's fine."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay." And then and then another, I'll just skip ahead if you don't want any like the reveals. I already did one, but the next one, so the Iron Man was Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. Which, by the way, that suit was ass, dude.
Oh, was it bad?
It was Iron Man.
Is he actually called
1
Ironheart?
Quality. Yes, that is her name.
Well, when you say quality, you mean like
like the
intentionally,
CG
or
quality
the CG
of
was
that.
not good.
Oh, good
CG
lord, these
was
pictures look
ass.
bad.
Dude, it's Iron Man 1 quality.
I'm just, man, you know what? Can we get a whole new take on the whole in the HUD thing? It was really cool when Tony Stark would do the in the HUD thing in the black
now everyone
space.
gets this.
And now anytime anyone wears a helmet, it's like, look at me in the black void with lights on my face.
Well, what else do you want?
I don't even know. I just want to shake it up. Like, it feels like it's just a different color, and then look at me in the black
All right, well,
zone.
if you can do it better, Tim, then, shit.
Remember the scene when he falls out of the sky in Iron Man 1 where it's behind the visor and you see out the eye holes with nothing, and you just hear the wind whistling?
Yes.
That shot was rad. Imagine if there were some point
Yeah.
of view shots of her flying into the
Iron
water.
Man 1 was a fucking banger.
Yeah,
I would
well.
still watch that movie to this day.
Anyway, we don't
I would
have to hang
argue
on
it's
this.
yeah,
I just
fine.
wanted to say, saw it. It was fine. Like I said, it was too long. It's too much is crammed into this movie. And I think the next Marvel movie is Ant-Man, which I genuinely have no interest in going to see
Still haven't
at
seen any of them.
all.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was alright.
And honestly, we didn't talk about it. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about it. Real quick tangent about movies. 2 trailers came out that I watched recently. Guardians 3 and Indiana Jones. Guardians
Oh, I didn't know the Indiana Jones trailer was out.
We talked about it. I brought it up on Sunday, didn't I?
I thought you just brought up the movie. I didn't think you brought up the trailer.
No, the trailer is what came out. What made me see it?
I missed. You may have started the conversation when I was getting my food, and I jumped back in when I got back.
Maybe I talked to my dad and Kay about. I don't remember. It's called Indiana Jones and the
Prophet of the movie.
Oh my god, I already forgot the fucking name. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
This sounds like a Captain Underpants title.
I just, man, Guardians 3 just kind of looks like all these Marvel movies since Endgame feel so aimless. Like, it feels like we had this big goal of we're going to Endgame, and now it's like they're all just like, I don't fucking care about the universe enough to just be like, look at this random adventure.
Well, you're not supposed to care about the universe. You're supposed to care about the multiverse.
Okay, Freeman. And then Indiana Jones. We didn't need another one. Like,
We never did.
Last Crusade
Actually,
is such
though.
a perfect movie. Last Crusade is such a perfect movie.
But was it needed?
No, we're talking about Crystal Skull, right? And how much that was a shit movie.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. And then who knows how this movie's gonna be? How are they gonna retcon?
Like
The
Last
trailer
Crusade
opens and
was
Indy goes,
fine.
I don't believe in magic, and it's like, dude, you saw fucking aliens in that shitty movie. Like what? What do
You
you
saw
mean you don't
Alien.
believe in
He says he
magic?
doesn't believe in magic. My guy.
Swear
The
to
fucking...
God, he goes, I don't believe in magic. I've seen some weird shit as it cuts to shots from Raiders of the Lost fucking Ark.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, wait a minute.
It's like every time I think of things like that, I just want to be like Indiana and just do it in the Sean Connery voice from when he's like scolding him. Like, Jesus, God, come on, my guy. Anyway, saw both those trailers. I don't know if I'll see any of those movies in theater, which breaks my fucking heart because Indiana Jones 1 and 3 and kind of 2 are just such good movies. Like, talk about a pure, good adventure movie of Indiana Jones 1 and Indiana Jones 3. They're just so fucking perfect.
And now they're just gonna ruin it.
What's not perfect? So I was working from home one day like last week, and I had literally no work to do, and I'm like, fuck it. One of my podcasts constantly mentions the movie The Big Short as a recent classic movie. I'll watch that movie. This is like a well done docudrama about the housing bubble bursting.
Oh yeah, I couldn't even get through it, honestly.
It's well acted, and like they all do a good job, but it honestly just kind of depresses me of like how much it feels like shit just doesn't change. Like half the movie is them going, why does this work like this? And people just go, well, I'm expected to earn money, so I have to make things work like this. It's like, oh, this is depressing. But also it's like, yeah, there's just it's if you don't care and you don't get swept up in it, it's just kind of dull. Like, it's traders talking about stuff, and they try to make it interesting and explain it. Like, Tyler, what's her name? The actress who they literally have in a bathtub just to explain part of the movie, and it's so funny.
Yeah. Oh my god, what the fuck was her name?
It's I can't remember.
Wait, hold on. No, I
Big
gotta look it
Short.
up. Just keep talking.
I'm trying to remember, but it's so funny. Like, Freeman.
It was a long time since I saw that movie.
They also got who's that famous chef? They had him pop in.
Famous chef.
He's the really famous like traveling chef guy. Oh, I can't remember his name. Margot Robbie is the actress who is just in the tub. They get Selena Gomez to appear and just
I saw her face in my head
and say, "Here's how this stuff works." It's kind of funny. They just have these cameos where they just kind of try to simply explain how something works in like the banking world,
Yeah.
but it's like this is a funny gimmick, but it doesn't really carry the movie.
Gotcha.
I can't even find the chef guy. I don't remember who it was. But it's still well acted and everything like that. Saw. Val and her sisters grew up with a lot of Disney movies that I didn't, including Enchanted, the movie where what's her name? Oh my god, I can't remember a single thing about any of the movies I watched. Where is her name? It should be. Why is her Amy Adams? Yeah, Amy Adams and James Marsden come from a fantasy world to the real world. And they're supposed to get married, and they end up falling in love with people from the real world. And he goes back with his girl, and she stays here with her guy. And this sequel, Disenchanted, coming out like 10 years later. It was fine. They seemed to have a decent time with it, but even Val and Renee both weren't like, this is incredible. It's a little long. Again, another movie that's just a little long. But it was fine. It was interesting. It was kind of funny. So there was like one good song, as always, the villain song is a good song. But
I thought it was just all right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think I gave it like what, a 2.5, 3 maybe, if it was lucky on Letterboxd. It's fine.
Is it a movie that you like appreciate more as a kid, or just you didn't appreciate because you weren't a big fan of the original?
Probably kind of both. But even as a kid, it just felt like it kind of went on a little long, like I would imagine. But they both, I think, appreciate it slightly more. But even then, they were both like, oh, this didn't really hold up to the memories of the first movie.
Yeah, that's usually how it is.
I'm going to actually switch my order and end on a high note. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, their holiday special came out on Disney.
Oh, yeah.
This holiday special is basically, we're going to stop making the Kevin Bacon joke in anything else Guardians. Here's Kevin Bacon in real life in the Guardians of the Galaxy to get the joke out of the way. The whole movie is aliens don't understand how Christmas works. That's kind of the joke of the whole movie. Like, they like to eat little they have these crackers for nuts, and then Drax is like, this isn't a joke from the show, but imagine if Peter was like, yeah, we have these little devices that we use to crack nuts, and Drax just goes, why use device when you could just crush nut? Oh, and he just crushes a nut. Like, that's the kind of joke you would see. I should be a writer. That's the kind of joke you would see in this. Or like, they see a candy cane and Mantis goes, ooh, what is this? What kind of creature is this? And it's like, okay, it's a fucking little cane. Oh my god. Drax falls in love with this little stuffed elf thing. He's like, oh my god, tiny man. Anyway, it's that kind of thing. It's fine. But the absolute banger that I am so late to the party on, Chernobyl. Excellent show is all I need to say for review.
How long has this been out?
Years. This was a 2019 show.
Gotcha.
But this is one of those shows or movies that has just never left my head. Spoiler for next podcast, if I have time on Friday when I'm working from home, I'm going to finally watch the Ford v Ferrari movie. That's one of those things that I don't know why never leaves my head, like Big Short or Chernobyl. I got two of them out of the way, but Chernobyl was just stellar. The only thing that sucks is that one of the best scenes at the end that kind of ties the whole thing together was spoiled for me by watching a YouTube clip when I didn't realize how important it was. But it is still such a good show, because everyone knows that there was an explosion at Chernobyl. You know that as a fact of history, but so much of this, like the initial response, the horrible, like, okay, it's a spoiler in that it is a pretty emotional moment in the show, but in episode 1, the show starts and boom, The explosion is minute 0, and every minute from the show is time moving forward, except for flashbacks that dramatize a person describing what they have figured out. So you don't know how everything happened until characters figure it out. It's amazing in not giving stuff away, and it makes you feel like you're in the moment trying to figure out what happened and how to fix this.
Okay.
At the end of episode 1, as the fire is happening, you see the people from the town nearby, like 20 people, including children, be like, let's go get a view from the bridge. And they go to this bridge in the middle of the night, and they're watching this clearly radioactive fire. And ash just starts falling from the sky like snow. And there's shots of people chatting and pointing and kids running around. And as the
Awkward.
audience, you just go, oh my
They're dead.
God, no. And Tyler, at the end of the show, when they go, here's all the historical facts, they go, here's an aerial photo of that bridge. No person who stood on that bridge survived.
Sounds
Damn.
about right.
And it's just like, fuck me.
Sounds about right.
It is so good and so honest. There are moments in this show that I'm not going to forget. Like when a character in the very beginning is told to go check the core, and they just go, the core doesn't exist anymore. And the guy just goes, he throws a paper at him and goes, fuck you, go tell me what's going on in the core. And the guy leaves, and you just go, that guy's not going to... You're never going to see him alive again.
Yep.
And then it cuts to him looking down at what literally doesn't look real. It looks like looks almost like fucking Cthulhu-esque shit going on in this core, with these, like, the creepiest green glow you've ever seen, and just twisted, gross... Oh my God. It's fucking wild. It's a hard watch, because there is a lot of, like in the beginning, there's a lot of people sacrificing themselves, like firemen and shit, and they have no idea. They have no clue. And then later on, when you're like, oh, these people know they're fucked, and they're going in anyway, you just go, holy shit, it's so tense. Oh my God. So it is not a happy time, but it is one of the best dramatizations of a historical event I've ever seen.
Damn.
I think I gave it like a 4.5 on Letterboxd. It's just so good. Cannot recommend enough if you have HBO and are willing to watch it.
Well, nice.
And with
Give it a
that,
shot at some point.
I think I'm finally caught up on everything I did.
I was like,
and
damn,
I'm playing
so much for
KOTOR
rapid
again. I
fire.
reinstalled modded KOTOR.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Tim, you're under fire. That you took your sweet time on this rapid fire segment.
Sorry. I ran off on Chernobyl. I'm sorry.
Shit, and I even omitted my shit.
Do you want a rapid fire, Tyler?
No.
He
I
wants to
want to
leave.
play Dark Tide.
Well, we gotta watch
So-
Gundam.
We do.
Gundam. But anyway, we're going to end the podcast so we can go watch Gundam. So thank you all so much for listening. We're going to try to get one more episode in before the holidays with the year wrap up and all the Game of the Year comments and all that shit. So until next time, though, my name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
Just Tyler.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.